Hey folks, Levi here once again. Hope you enjoyed my review of Thor Tales of Asgard. That review's on my YouTube channel right now, and thank you for the 140 subs. Keep on subscribing, guys. Sorry about after that, though. I didn't want to do any reviews after that. I was just tired and I relaxed for the rest of the day. Yeah, I'm starting my new job on Monday. But the good thing is I will get days off and I'll get to do other reviews as well. But anyway, guys, this is my Levi McNally. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. Remember, it's the mask profile picture. And if y'all don't know, I've been here on YouTube actually for 11 years. Not 7 months, 11 years. Because I had another YouTube channel, but I lost the account, so I had to make this new one, and that's the mask profile picture on it. So make sure it's Levi McNally 983. You know, it's very pretty similar to see the mask profile picture. You know, like the poster of the mask doing this with the smile. You know, with the smile on in the yellow hat and the yellow hat. You know, yeah. But anyway, what I've been doing, guys, on my YouTube channel here, I've been doing a superhero marathon. I've been reviewing what I call the 2010s era superhero movies. I've been reviewing superhero movies that came out in the year 2010 to 2019. And right now I'm on the year 2011. I got probably like three more movies to go after this one. Well, four. So I'm reading this one right now. And this is another revisit review, just as with Thor, talking about the fourth MCU movie. This is an X-Men movie, another, well, at least I'm gonna call it a prequel. Some people might call it a reboot, whatever, but I call this a prequel. It's a prequel, just like X-Men Origins. And even though I hated that movie, I say I hated this movie too. I did not care for this film. This movie was boring, and that, of course, is X-Men First Class. Besides Hellfire Club, right there, the villains of the movie and our heroes of the movie. Yeah, the X-Men themselves. Basically, the story here is about Professor X and you know, basically about Professor X, Charles Xavier, and Eric Lyncher before they became Professor X and Magneto, and before the X Men and all that stuff. Yeah, but this is the slipcover. Yeah, and this next because this came out in June. Yeah, well, let me get to the history of the movie. It is the fourth mainline installment in X Men Favorite Series, whatever that means. Court of Cards Law and Order. It's still the fifth installment to me in the series. It's the fifth X Men movie, and I say it's the second prequel. It was intended to be a franchise of reboot. It's a follow-up film after X-Men Days of Future Past, reconnected, and it's a prequel to X-Men 2000, the first X-Men movie, which are and X2 are still, in my opinion, the first two best X-Men. Yeah, I will say this about this. I do kind of like the suits though they have, but still doesn't make it a good movie. Yeah, and the suits they have the black suits. You know, they made the joke about Wolverine yellow spandex. But despite that though, X-Men X2, X-Men United have better characters and they had a better story, and I cared more about the characters than I did in this film. So anyway, let's get to it, shall we, for the production. So during the production of X2, producer Lauren Sheldon Donner had discussed that if y'all don't know her, she is the wife of the late Richard Donner, who directed Superman the movie, and the reason we get superhero movies like this and even today is because of Superman the movie. She had discussed the idea of a film focused on the young X-Men with the crew, which was met with approval. And she did talk about this, I think, with Simon Kinberg and even Brian Singer himself, and they agreed to it, which I don't know why. Again, I don't care about, let me just, before I get on to the ranting, on the X-Men. The concept was arrived in the production of X-Men Last Stand, which originally they were going to use the Hellfire Club for that movie, but we get them in this movie instead. Should have used them in that movie. But that movie screwed up the Phoenix saga. You know, I like the characters in X-Men Last Stand, but I hate what they do with the characters in X-Men Last Stand. Yeah. And I hated the Kitty character in Love Triangle, and yeah, and the story of that movie I hated a lot too. But the Last Stand Writers, that Penn was hard to write and direct this X Men spinoff. But this idea later fell through. Penn explained in 2007 the original idea was to have me do a young X Men spinoff, a spinoff of the young X Men characters. But someone came up with a pretty interesting idea. It was the guy who worked with me named Mike Chumley. He worked a lot with me on X3. He came up with how you do a young X Men movie, which is not what you'd expect. Around the same time in December 2004, 20th Century Fox hired screenwriter Sheldon Turner to direct a spin-off for X-Men film, and they chose to write Magneto, pitching it as the Panis meets X-Men. According to Turner, the script had been penned was set from 1939 to 1955. Following Magneto trying to survive in Alcatraz, whatever, he meets his Xavier, young soldier during the liberation of the camp. He hunts down the Nazi war criminals who torture him, and his lust for vengeance turns him and Xavier to enemies. In April 2007, David Esquire was hired to direct. Thankfully, it would have been, well, this film still sucks anyway. Thank God, because David Esquire screwed up Blade Trinity, so I'm like, you know, the film would take place, it still would have sucked if he would have directed anyway. The film would take place mostly in flashback with actors in their 20s, with Ian McKellen's older Magneto as a framing device. Probably bad CGI, computer generation, facelift applied to him of The Last Stand. McKellen projected his hope to open and close the film. The Magneto film was planned and straight for 2009 release, but the factors include 2007-8 Writers Guild of America caused the production to cancel plans for the movie. As producer Simon Kinberg read the comic series X-Men First Class, he suggested studios to transfer to 20th Century Fox to adapt it. That name sounds so familiar, Simon Kinberg. Kinberg, however, did not want to follow the comic too much, as he felt it was a fresh enough terms of storytelling, considered them too similar to Twilight and John Hughes movies, and also because the producers wanted an adaptation that would introduce new characters. Both Kinberg and Sheila Donner said that they wanted characters with visual and powers that had not been that worked well as an ensemble, even if they did not get together, not work together in the comic. Sheila Donner later said the original idea was to greenlit First Class, depending on the six of X-Men Origins Magneto, and you felt with X-Men Origins Wolverine. Remember, she had an idea for that too, but the studio said, "Hey, let's make it PG-13." But I don't blame the studio for this movie. I do blame them for X-Men Origins Wolverine because they gave her the idea and the story for that movie. The project was seeking approval in Washington, D.C., and by December 2008, Goyer said filming would begin if X-Men vs. Wolverine was successful. The story was moved forward to 1962 and involves Xavier Magneto battling a villain. In July 2000 and 2008, Josh Schwartz was hired to write the screenplay while declining the possibility of directing X-Men First Class. Fox later reports Bryan Singer directed the first two X-Men movies. 2009, Schwartz later said that Singer dismissed his work. He wanted to make a very different kind of movie. But the director instead of writing his own treatment, which was then, I think he did produce this movie though. In 2009, Ian McKellen confirmed that he would not retire his role as Magneto, citing his age. And Sheila Donner stated that the movie might not be ever made, saying that it was back at the quote in the studio's priorities. Both Donner and Bryan Singer have stated that Magneto would not be produced as the plot of X-Men First Class. Super Speed, the story of the planned film. Singer denied using Sheldon's script for Magneto inspiration to write the draft for First Class, but the Writers Guild of America still credited Turner for the film's story. While most in collaborations in credited, Singer said the film appeared when Xavier Magneto were in their 20s. Seeing that it was during the 1960s, the Cuban Missile Crisis as the backdrop, it'd be interesting to discuss the concept and contest. Shola Donner insisted that the Hellfire Club as the villains. In addition to Moss, Alshie Elwood Miller and second students were hired to rewrite the script, really compared totally to Singer's work in the first two X-Men films, and the pair centered the film on Xavier and Magneto's relationship. And they wrote into the characters and storylines in terms of how they fit in the tensions between Eric and Charles. Singer dropped out of the director's position due to his commitment to the Jack the Giant Killer adaptation. He formalized his duties from director to producer. Producers listed possible directors, but at first did not consider Matthew Vaughn because he started working with Last Stand before Kit Back now. But after seeing his satirical superhero film Kick-Ass, Kinberg decided to contract Vaughn to see if he would be interested in First Class, which I don't know why. And Matthew Vaughn did a crappy job directing this movie, so I knew this film was going to suck when he directed it because Kick-Ass sucked. But again, I do like the Kingsman movies. Even the Golden Circle, those are better, and the Secret Service, those movies are awesome. Mainly because they're rated R and do a lot better job bloody wise and stuff. You know. When Fox offered Vaughn a chance to reboot X-Men, put your stamp all over it, he first through the studio was joking. After discovering that it was set in the 60s, y'all should know how I feel about Kick-Ass. If you want to see my thoughts on the review of Kick-Ass, it's on my channel right now. Yeah, I hate that movie mainly because the lead and the story sucked as well. The writers say that First Class will become the opportunity to combine many of the Dreams projects. I got my cake and ate it. Managed to do X-Men movie and Bond a thing. A Frank and Miner pulled through at the same time. Vaughn signed on Singer's replacement in May 2010, and Fox announced a June 3rd, 2011 release date. Vaughn also rewrote the script with his screenwriting partner James Goldman, adding new characters and changing existing characters and dynamics. For instance, the idea of a love triangle between Xavier, Magneto, and Moira was cut. The character of Sunspot was also cut. A director felt that we didn't have no time or money to make the character work. Vaughn and Goldman considered mentioning the civil rights movement, but ultimately the director felt that I had enough political subplot for the movie in the movie. Vaughn stated that his biggest concern was to both make Eric and Charles' friendship believable given the short time span of the film and how the character of Magneto was built. Shaw was their villain, but now you're seeing all those elements of Shaw going into Magneto. An action scene that was too heavy, set in dream sequence with room to scrap after the release of Inception. Yeah, good. Inception's a better movie. They came out the previous year for this. Describing his thought process towards the material, Vaughn said that he was motivated by unfinished business. with Marvel. Having been involved with the production of both X-Men Last Stand and Thor, Vaughn declared that he was more enthusiastic about First Class and Last Stand due to not being concentrated by the previous installments and having the opportunity to start fresh. Elements of Vaughn compared First Class to both Batman Begins. Even though how I feel about Batman Begins seems like he doesn't, yeah, I'm like, dude, you're not Christopher Nolan with unseen approach. And the 2009 Star Trek film, which again I think that film is overrated, which paid homage to the original score source material, taking in a new direction of a fresh young cast. Writing scenario, Fon said his intention was to make a good film that extends on to 2 feet, regardless of all the other films, and also said that could reboot and start a whole new X Men franchise. Goldman added the film was kind of an alternative history for the X Men, saying that while rebooting the writers did not want to do fully against the canon of X Men trilogy, granted, first the comic had over 50 years of publication. The film more serves as a central constantly comics of the X Men filming. The English house was served as the X Mansion in the movie, where Charles Xavier lives. Yeah. Began filming. Filming began on August 31st, 2010, in Oxford, England. Included St. Street and some of the University Oxford buildings. Lasted for 2 days. Some Power Studios and Georgia, even, including Tybee Island and Savannah, besides in Louisiana, North Carolina, and which Michigan were considered. Jekyll Island was chosen as a producer reviewed the location on Google Earth. Palm trees were planted in the island stand so that it looked more like a tropical beach. Yeah. The England House and Baylor served as the X mentioned. Photography ended in December, although just half the climax actually had been filmed. The 1960 X-Men first class, inspired by the James Bond films of the era, Bond said that Magneto was his attempt to recreate Sean Connery's Bond in both style and the badass, charming, realistic, sweet, and personality, which you failed at, by the way, because Michael Fassbender, you are no Sean Connery. Neither is James McCoy. You're not a good actor like they are, like he was. Bond said he shot the film in a way which resembled the production in the 1960s. Visual effects. It has 1,500 visual effect shots. Because of mutants and stuff and their powers, you gotta have CGI in there. Yeah. Not interested in reading CGI. The music score was done by Henry Jackman. And the film did have sequels, like you can say X-Men Days of Future Past. That was a good movie, but not because of this cast, because they just had a better director and writer to work with. I haven't seen the Road Cut, but I would like to. I'm sure it's better than this. Yeah, X-Men Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, which, yeah, their third and final film because, yeah, X-Men Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix suck. You know, it just gets worse in from here. You know, it gets 96 from Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't agree with. A strong shift in stylish direction and powerful performances from its well-rounded cast. No, I disagree with that. Apparently, what movie were you watching? Yeah. Lisa Schrombos of Entertainment Weekly said the kind of youthful brit but poverty and change director Matthew Vaughn was absorbed from his previous collaborations as producer for director Guy Ritchie's films and found McCoy and Fassbender a casting triumphant. These two have, yes, both star magnetism, but both eventually together. They're both cool, intense, survive, and unaffected. About the, here are the, called a blockbuster for brains and said Vaughn brings similar comic creation as he did to Kick-Ass and managed to do while having to the Sega. So it was good for some awards. It won Best Fantasy Film. Why this film won the award? Best Cameo for Hugh Jackman. Okay, I'll give it that. Yeah, that cameo was the best thing in the movie. But anyway, for the cast of the movie, you have James McCoy as Charles Xavier, who is the immediate leader and founder of the X-Men. He's a close friend of Eric. James McCoy, not really big. Again, I thought he sucked and wanted. He was terrible in that. He was in M. Night Shyamalan's Split. Though I would kind of like to see that movie. I'm interested to see that film. I think if he works with a good director, he can pull off a good performance. But like I said, his character's a little wimp. You know, and all he does is whine. I'm talking about Wanted. So I'm not a big fan of the actor, but that's just me. Yeah, he's a Scottish actor, and I'm not really a fan. Sorry. And Michael Fassbender, overrated actor, as Harry Lencher, who's a Nazi hunter and a mutant capable of manipulating and generating electrical fields. Xavier has the power to read minds and control minds, and even like freeze minds or make you go to sleep. Lawrence Belcher as young Charles Xavier, like when he's a kid. Michael Fassbender, not really much of a fan. Oh yeah, he was in Jonah Hex before this. Yeah, and he was terrible in that. He was over the top and goofy. Prometheus, which was an Alien reboot, and of course he played Steve Jobs and Steve Jobs. I wonder how that movie would be. Yeah, but so far I never liked him as Magneto in the X-Men Apocalypse or Days of Future Past. He was alright. He did pretty good in Days of Future Past. That was because he had better to work with. Yeah, and Bill Miner plays young Garrick Miner, and Kevin Bacon and Sebastian Shaw. Kevin Bacon, he's one of the cast members in this movie that actually at least tries to give a performance. I do thought he was good, but the what he had to work with wasn't much. Again, if you want to see him as a better villain, I recommend watching The River Wild, The River Wild with Meryl Streep and John C. Reilly and David Stratton. That's a better cast. That's a better film, and he's a much better villain in that movie. Yeah, and he's good in Tremors. He's not the villain, but what villains? Hollow Man. I love Hollow Man. That has a good cast. Hollow Man's better, and it has better CGI effects, and that film holds up more than this. Hollow Man wasn't boring. It was intense, and he was a great villain. You know, yeah, and Super. He was a villain in Super. I wish he had more screen time in that movie, but he was good. And at least that film had a better cast in it. Well, minus the Balti bitch who played her, whatever, what's her name is, the actress who I didn't care for. Rose Byrne is Maria Taggart, a CIA agent who befriends Xavier Lindsay. Not a big fan of Rosa Byrne. Yeah. She had a small role in Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. She was alright in, uh, what's that movie? I forget. Yeah. But, yeah, she was in Neighbors, co-starring with, uh, Seth Rogen. Not a fan of these actors, but that's just me. Jennifer Lawrence is a brave mistake. Jennifer Lawrence, I can say I liked her in Passengers. That was a real good movie from 2016. And I thought she was pretty good in here, despite what she had to work with. Yeah. I haven't seen her a lot, but I'm sure she's better than any other movie than here. And House on the Left, thanks, she was good in that as well. Morgan Lily as young Raven, 10 years old. Rebecca Romaine has a cameo as older Raven. Vaughn added in as a joke. But Rebecca Romaine, she was, of course, she was Mystique in the three first, X-Men, X-Men 2, the last, X2, X-Men United, and X-Men 3, X-Men Last Stand. She was good in those, and she was in another Marvel movie, The Punisher, with Thomas Jane. Better film than this. And she voiced Lois Lane and Reign of the Superman and Batman Hush Justice League Dark Apocalypse. She just has a cameo in here, but it's uncredited. Oliver Platt as a man in black suit, but he's wasted here. Yeah, I will spoil it. But I liked him more in movies like he was good in Beethoven. He was good in Doctor Dolittle with Eddie Murphy. I'm talking about the 1998 film with Eddie Murphy and Late Plasket. He was good in that as well. He didn't die in those movies. And was scared to die in the movie by Centennial Man, but by getting old age. But he was good in that movie too, by Centennial Man. Alex Gosno as Janos Quested Riptide. Jason Fleming. Let me see about this actor. I think I've seen him in any of the movies. Spanish actor. Jason Fleming as Ezreal, who I think is, from what I heard, he's like the father, of what's his character's name? Nightcrawler, but yeah, yeah, Kurt Wagner, or no, not Kurt Wagner. I can't say his name. I'm not going to attempt to, but Alan Cumming, who played Nightcrawler in the movie, is a lot better. But again, if I want to see him as a villain, I'll just watch the Jungle Book when Lieutenant Jungle Book, and that's a better movie than this. It's number one. It's not over 2 hours and 12 minutes long of a movie, and I liked him in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. You know what? That movie's a masterpiece compared to. I'd rather watch League of Extraordinary Gentlemen over this because that film had a better cast in it, in my opinion. I didn't care, but he was decent in Flash of Times, but that film 2010 remake sucked. He was also in Kick-Ass having a small part, a terrible movie. Yeah, and he was also in the Seed of Chucky, just a small part in that movie. Zoe Kravitz as Angel. I think. Let's see. I think she was in the Batman, right? Oh, so she's done the superhero stuff. See. The Lego Batman movie. She voiced Selena Kyle Batwoman. She voiced Mary Jane Parker in Spider-Man and Spider-Verse, and of course she was Selena Kyle Catwoman in the Batman in 2022. Way better movie than this, and Spider-Man and Spider-Verse as well. January Jones is Emma Frost, an extremely strong minute who can change her entire body to hard diamond form. She's a telepath herself. January Jones, a very beautiful woman, always one of my favorite actresses. Gorgeous woman. She was an unknown after this. She didn't have much to do. But in here, in this movie, her performance is nothing. She just, yeah, yeah. January Jones, she's just really hot. She's just eye candy in here. And Nicholas Holt's like Beast, do not care for him. I think isn't he gonna be like Luthor? Yeah. Which again, I really don't look forward to seeing him as Lex Luthor. I think he sucked as Hank McCoy Beast. Yeah, yeah, he's gonna play Lex Luthor, which again, he's one of the reasons why I don't want to watch that movie. Caleb Landry Jones as Cassidy Banji. Oh, he was Jeremy in Get Out, which is a better movie than this. Yeah, Banji. And Eric July as Darwin. I think he's also gonna be Mr. He's gonna be Mr. Terrific and James Gunn's Superman. Yeah, he's completely wasted here. Lucas Tell as Alex Summers Havoc. So I guess you can say he's like the brother. Yeah, the brother of Scott Summers. You have Glenn Marshall, you have Matt Craven, a CIA director. He was in The Fugitive Man, Crimson Chico Slatter, so Disturbia. Oh yeah, let's see, is this the same actor? Let's see, 2007. Okay, yeah, he plays Shia LaBeouf's father that dies in the beginning of that movie. Yeah, Michael Arnstein is in here in this movie as well. If you want to talk superhero, he was in Smallville as Samuel Lane, and he voiced Darkseid in Superman the animated series, and has done many other villains like in Total Recall. Been in the movies. Ray Wise. You probably remember him as Leon Nash. I think that's his character's name. Yeah, Leon Nash from RoboCop, and he was in Swamp Thing at playing Swamp Thing. Yeah, and he did a voice for Superman Doomsday. Let's see. Sorry. Yeah, he voiced Perry White in that. James Ramirez in it. James Ramirez, if you want to talk about superhero, well, he was in 48 Hours, played the villain in that with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. He was also in The Phantom, played a villain in that. And it's Black Lightning, which was for the Arrowverse. Yeah, and he's guest starred on some shows as well. He was cool in The Phantom, like I said. Too Fast, Too Furious. He was also in Blade Trinity. What crappy movie? Hardly remember him in that. Brendan Doran, Dimitri. I don't know who that. I can't say his name right. Hugh Jackman on Silver Spiders has a cameo, and I'll mention that later. Yeah, and some of the cast members. Okay, in the film, the film is directed by Matthew Vaughn. Like I said, he directed Kick-Ass, and I hated Kick-Ass. I hate that movie. Well, I say he also directed Kingsman: The Secret Service and Kingsman: The Golden. I haven't seen The Kingsman. I don't know who that is, but I do like Kingsman: Secret Service and Kingsman: Golden Circle. Those are excellent films in my opinion. I think they're both good. The screenplay. Why does this film have five writers? Let's see, one, two, three, four, four writers. Just kidding. Why do you have four writers writing this movie? I know we're 25 minutes in. I'm sorry, Ashley Edward. He also wrote the films like. So he also wrote the script for Thor in this movie. He hasn't done the movie since. Zach Tense, the first Agent Carter-based movie, and Thor. And I guess there was some Jane Goldman, who's wrote scripts for Kick-Ass and X-Men: Days of Future Past. Yeah. Stories by Sheldon Turner and Brian Singer. Sheldon Turner wrote for The Longest Yard, the 2005 remake with Adam Sandler. Yeah, not too many movies. Brian Singer, of course, he directed the first two X-Men movies. Does the story for this movie. I guess Lauren Shoulder Donner is a producer on this movie as well. Special X-Men created by Stan Lee, and Jack Kirby. You have Shoulder, Lauren, Lauren Shoulder Donner, like I said, the wife of the late Richard Donner. She wasn't she? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. She also worked on movies like Mr. Mom, St. Elmo's Fire, Three Fugitives, Free Willy 2, The Adventure Home. You've got Mel, the first two X-Men movies, Constantine, and X-Men Last Stand, and Origins of Wolverine, of course, and the Wolverine, Days of Future Past, Deadpool, Apocalypse, X-Men Apocalypse, Logan, Deadpool 2, and recently, they came out last year, 2024, was Deadpool Wolverine. And Simon Kimber, let's see, XX Day of the Union, which he was right on, not a fan of that movie, Mr. Smith, not a fan. X-Men Last Stand, Jumper, I didn't mind that movie. I actually like that film. And I like Sherlock Holmes. I don't like X-Men First Class. Days of Future Past I liked because it just had better writing in it. And of course, he wrote the script for Fantastic Four Fan Force in 2015, which I don't mind that movie. The Martian, which I think he worked in that movie, wasn't a fan of that movie. And he worked in Deadpool, which was good, and Logan, which are good movies. And Deadpool 2, which I like. Yeah. And The Running Man, he's gonna be a producer in that remake, which I don't care to see. Gregory Goodman, Fantastic Four 2015, which I'd rather watch this over that, but that's just me. Because I actually kind of like the cast. I like the cast in that movie. Cinematography is by John Matheson. The Man from Uncle, which is meh. Pan, I heard, wasn't a very good movie. And he worked on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness as a cinematographer. It's edited by Lee Smith, who edited films like Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, Inception, and Stellar. Really worked with Christopher Nolan. And Eddie Hamilton has worked with Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossible film series. Edited some of those movies. And Kick-Ass, and I guess Kick-Ass 2, Mission Impossible Fallout, Rogue Nation, Kingsman, Secret Service, Golden Circle. Production was 20th Century Fox, Marvel Entertainment, The Donner's Company, Bad Hat Harry Productions, Donner Entertainment, and its film partners, distributed 20th Century Fox. June 1st, 2011, it was released in the United Kingdom, the UK, London, England, and here in the US, it was released June 3rd, 2011. It's 132 minutes long. The budget was $140 million, and the box office made $350 million worth, so it made money. I wouldn't call it a huge hit. Thor still made more money. Yeah. But I guess they wanted to make this movie because for some reason X Men Origins I think got bad reviews, and I guess they thought, well, this would be a good movie. Yeah, X Men Origins sucked. So, but I guess they were planning this movie ahead of time, and they shouldn't have done it. You know, it was a stupid idea. Look at X Men Origins Wolverine. Is that a well-loved movie? Some people might like that movie, and that's fine, but it's not really. At least some people consider it one of the worst superhero movies ever. And you thought this was good to make this movie. As soon as that movie came out and it got bad reception, they said, we'll scrap it. But the film's 2 hours and 12 minutes. It's too long. But the story of X Men First Class, like this, like I said, this is a prequel. I'm not calling it a reboot. It's a fucking prequel. Okay, X Men Origins Wolverine. That's a prequel for the story for Hugh Jack for Wolverine, Logan for his past and how he before he joined the X Men, how he got his metal claws. You know, I don't mind this being PG-13. That's fine. The rating is not the problem. And pretty much the story of X-Men First Class is that in the early 1960s, during the height of the Cold War, a mutant named Charles Xavier, played by James McCoy, and Eric Lensher, played by Michael Fassbender, before they become Professor X and Magneto, despite their really different backgrounds, Charles grew up with a wealthy family, while Eric lost his parents at Hush. He lost them in Germany. The two become close friends. As the world teeters on the brink of the nuclear war, Charles and Xavier, with the other men, join forces to save humanity. However, a situation soon tears the friends apart. Well, what happens is, there'll be spoilers. Well, what happens is they have to fight the Firehill Club that is led by Sebastian Shaw, played by Kevin Bacon. They're planning to start a nuclear war, global war, and so Charles and Eric they have to team up. They become friends, and they create the team of the X-Men, and they have to take on Hellfire Club. They have to defeat them, but beside their differences, they do become who they are by the end of the movie, and yet begins the whole story of the X-Men. And you get it with the X-Men; they're mutants. Society won't accept it. It does play on the politics of that a little bit, which I can care less about that, and Cuban Missile Crisis. When, in the 1960s, when John F. Kennedy was president before his assassination, I think in 1963 when that happened. Yeah, and that's the plot of the movie. So and then I'm gonna give you my final opinion. I'm gonna talk about the plot, give my final thoughts on the movie to that, okay? Make sure I'm talking about the right movie. I'll talk about the movie itself and give you my final opinion on it. And if you like the movie, that's fine. I don't understand why. I think this movie, to me, it's overrated. I don't get why people praise it. It's so damn boring. But anyway, X Men First Class. So the movie starts off, well, again, like you've seen in the, if you've seen the first X Men movie from 2000, it starts off in German, at a German camp in 1944 where Eric Lyncher gets separated from his parents and he uses powers to, the gate, it's metal, to break it down. And one of the guards, like, hits him in the face with a gun, knocks him out. Don't kill him, just knock him out. And Sebastian Shaw, played by Kevin Bacon, sees this. He's like, I guess, a scientist. He observes through the window. So he calls Lynch to see him. He wants him to like move the coin, Eric. Use your power. Says the coin is made out of metal, and Eric can't do it. And I hate subtitles too. The subtitles. Oh, I thank God I didn't see this movie in theaters because you have to read the subtitles. You know how annoying that is. No, I'm not racist, but I can't understand the subtitles half the time. I'm like, why do I just have to read the damn subtitles in the movie theater? But he can't do it. Shaw gets aggravated. Shaw brings his mother, and he's like this. I'm gonna. He pulls a gun. He's like, I'm gonna kill your mother if you don't move this coin. He's like, Mama, you can do it, son. Mama, you can do it, son. And he's like, one, two, three, pow! Shoots his mom, and Eric gets mad, destroys it, and he uses his powers to bat. He gets angry. Shaw's like, sees him using his powers, and he's get everything out. He's like, son, Dad, I'm gonna pain. We'll work more than that. And over the years, he does these experiments on him. He uses him as a guinea pig to see him as a potential ally, like in the future. And then you have at the same time you see Charles Xavier meets a young shape-shifting girl named Raven. Of course, Mystique. This movie plays off of the brother sister. It's kind of like an X-Men Wolverine when Logan and Sabretooth, Logan and Victor are brothers before they become Wolverine and Sabretooth. And making them brothers that makes no sense. And now we have Professor X and Mystique being brother and sister, or kind of adopted stepbrother sister, whatever. And that makes no sense because you don't get any of that in the first two X movies, in the first three X movies. Is there a hint of that? Because when Mystique dies or gets powers, Charles is like, "Oh, I want to see my sister again." There is none of that. This is just stupid writing. I said this film has four writers, and the best you can do is make them brother and sister. Yeah, she disguises herself as his mother. He's like, "You are not my mother. My mother never says someone kid never makes me food." And she's like, "Well, you can stay here," and he adopts her as his sister. He's overjoyed to meet somebody who's different like him. The movie then opens with the present day of 1962. Lyncher, Eric goes into a bank. He forces he rips out one of the metal fillings in his mouth. He's like, rips it out. He forces him to trace it. he wants to get Shaw's address. He knows that this banker knows it. He threatens him. He's like, and if you say anything to anybody, I'll kill you. And again, they're speaking German, which I can't understand. The subtitles are known. Then Lyncher goes to these men. He stabs one guy, and the other he like breaks his neck. Whatever he does, I don't remember. Stabs one guy with a knife. Well, oh yeah, because one of the guys pointing a gun. He controls the gun, gets him to shoot this guy. Then uses the magneto, magnetism to throw the knife at the guy and then catch it back out of his stomach, killing the guy. He's like, I was just a soldier. He's like, so was I. Yeah. And he gets Shaw's address. He kills three of the men. He shoots one guy in the head. Then you have in Oxford University, Xavier is publishing these mutation. And again, I didn't like James McCoy. His accent is stupid, and he just made he's like drinking a big old bong of beer, and he's just a douchebag. He just hits on women, uses powers to manipulate them, and I'm like, you're a bit of a douche. And I guess Jennifer Lawrence, like I said, she does fine in here. I mean, she's one of the cast that's actually trying to do her best here, but she has nothing to work with. And she, her character I didn't care for. I mean, well, her character, I mean, I didn't mind her as Raven. She like uses her powers or whatever that gets on his nerves. And they're talking about the mutation and him becoming a professor. He's like, I don't think I'm really used to that. Then you have it open in Las Vegas. Follows U.S. Army Colonel Hendry. He meets Shaw, Emma Frost, Riptide, and Hazel. And I guess he wants these missiles in Turkey. Shaw wants these missiles and wants to talk to him. And said that Joan doesn't talk about, so he has Riptide like Riptide, and like kind of like create tornadoes out of his hands. And Emma can read his mind. You're thinking of leaving. You're thinking of telling. We won't. We'll find you, Henry, and we'll kill you. And she looks terrible in CGI. But like I said, January Jones, she looks hot in this film. I'm not gonna lie, but that's about it. She's eye candy. You know, boink boink. I'm just kidding. That's weird. I'm sorry. Yeah, but that's all she is. She's just hot. She's just hot to trot. She's just good to look at, and she's just eye candy. There's another new character, but her character disappears in like the second act of the movie. Then you don't see her to the end of the film because, as you can tell right now, well, you know, look at the picture here. She ends up in jail halfway through the movie. You know, so she does nothing but stand around and look gorgeous. You know, so Hazel takes because he can teleport. Like I said, I guess he's the father of Nightcrawler. That's what I've heard so far. Jason Fleming does look good in the makeup, but again, he looks better in makeup as Mr. Hyde. I'm talking about and League of Strange Gentlemen. Such a better movie. Well, I don't mind that movie. That movie's a masterpiece compared to this. At least that film I thought had a better cast. I like the cast a lot more. Yeah. And it didn't bore me like this film does. But she's calling the colonel. Is like, I got bigger problems to deal with. But Rosa Burns, like, she pretends to be one of the girls. And again, I don't really care for Rosa Burns, the actress. And they're thinking she's crazy. And Shaw meets with Colonel Henry again on his yacht and refuses to give Henry his money. Henry poses a grand threat to pull the pin, but Shaw's like, go ahead and do it. Shaw, he's like, you're one of them. He's me too. He blows up the trigger. I mean, takes the pin off, and he can absorb the energy, which it also keeps him young. They should have had the Hellfire Club in X Men. That they should have had the Hellfire Club in X Men 3. You know, with Kevin Bacon. At the time, it would have been a much better movie. And he like touches the Colonel, like touches him with a finger, like douche. Blows his ass up, kills him. Mick Taggart, who was like Colonel, the guy who played Shia LaBeouf's father, like whatever he is or whatever, CIA director. Takes Xavier River to the CIA, convinces the chief that Shaw is immune, is a threat. Xavier tells them that he can read their minds, and they see Xavier, one guy didn't trust him. Oliver Platt, like, well, I could trust him. And Rosenberg's talking to this one agent. He freezes the one agent when he's drinking water. He's like, come down, talk to me. He's like, do you want me to read your mind, Oliver Platt? Oliver Platt does good too, but again, he's wasted here completely. You could have done so much more with this character, but I'll get to that later. They take them to this cover facility. Xavier tracks down Shaw, and Eric gets on the boat, but pretty much, uh, the telepath, Emmy uses her telepath on him, knock him out. She like puts him away, turns to her diamond form, knocks him out. I was like, "Thank you, beautiful," and and she can read. Emma Frost can read Charles Xavier's mind, but Eric gets kicked down. Eric sees that, well, Eric tries to use his powers, uses his power of magnetism, try to get the metal that is the anchor, tries to use the chain to destroy the ship. The team runs down there, and Emma and Shaw, they run down. They get a submarine. They get in the submarine. He's trying to grab the submarine, and this is the first time Charles and Eric meet because Charles jumps in the water. He's like, "I know what you're thinking. I know what your pain is, but you got to stop. Gonna die here." And they have a talk, and they get in the water. But then Lynch destroys Xavier Raven at the CIA facility. Then they meet Hank McCoy, who people make fun of him. They never thought didn't care about his character. Oh yeah, is that his feet are like Bigfoot's feet, and him and Raven like have things for each other. And he embarrassed, and Charles just announced that he's immune. I'm like, wow, Charles would embarrass the guy. Yeah. And they're gonna, they should see how they're gonna find Charles, what they're gonna do. Uh, Eric wants to leave to go get his revenge, and he's like, I could stop you, but I still think you can be useful to us. You can help us. We can help each other. And they build Cerebro. Cerebro is the type that, with the helmet on, uh, Professor X can use it to find mutants and people, or to track down mutants or whatever. It's where he can see all the mutants with his mind, and all humans on the Earth. Yeah. He locates mutants, they recruits over them, they tell her, we're going to do this ourselves. He's like, okay. They locate her in this movie. Yeah. She's kind of like a stripper, and she has like, she can, wings that come out of her, kind of like she's a fairy, and that fire that can come out of her mouth. They get Eric Summers, let's see, him right there, who become Havoc. Next, then they get Banshee characters on here. I don't know. Okay, I don't see the Banshee character on here. I think him tries to get a date with this girl. The girl that plays the role that he's flirting with, I think she played Allison on Pretty Little Liars. I think that's what the character's name was in that show. So he tries to flirt with her by pretending he can fish. And then the best scene in the movie where you get it came Hugh Chapman. They say hello to him. They sit down. He's like, "Go fuck yourself." Yeah, that's what I want to say to Matthew Vaughn for making this movie. Just go fuck himself. Yeah, that was the only best scene in the movie. Yeah. So Shaw plans to meet up with a Russian general, but since Emma Frost says she's like, "Well, honey, between me and you, it's a great company." And this general, this guy, he was the villain in Taken 2. And if you've seen he was Strauser. And if you've seen the Mighty Joan, Mighty Joe Young from 1998, he was the villain in that. He's this Russian general. Emma like uses her powers to seduce him. Eric, Xavier, and Lyncher, Lyncher's like goes, he's not part of the CIA. The men are trying to see them, but he makes him disappear with his mind so they can get in. Lyncher attacks some men with barbed wires that are metal, and Xavier puts one to sleep. He's attacking guys with guns. They run in there. He tries to read him his mind. He's like, you can't read my mind when I'm like this. And they tackle her down. Eventually, my knees over to get at the bed, like, as metal to tie her down, and he chokes him. And he's like, Eric, stop. Eric, stop. And he does. She won't be turning that way again. He reads her mind, and he sees that Sebastian Shaw will start a nuclear war. It'll kill billions of people, and that the mutant kind will take over the world because they'll be like gods, basically. Or you see how insane Sebastian Shaw is. Shaw, though, recruits Angel. Well, they kill some men, including Oliver Platt dies, so because Hazel picks him up, throws him in the air, drops them to their deaths. Jason Philman, I think, does a good job as Hazel. I like the makeup on him. Makeup is very good, and he's trying to give a performance here and some good action a little bit. But again, Nightcrawler and X2 X Men United, that was a better shot. That was better film. That was better music too. The music in here is something else. It's so loud and obnoxious. Yeah, who did the music in this movie? I'm sorry, didn't read about. Oh, okay, the music was by Henry Jackman. Who did music score for Kick-Ass, Kick-Ass 2, and Kong Skull Island? Captain Phillips, Wreck-It Ralph, Big Hero 6, which is another superhero film, better than this. At least I care more about the characters in that movie, especially the two main characters. Yeah. But anyway, where was I? So Shaw attacks them. Hazel's attacking them. Riptide does too. Creates some whirlwinds like tornadoes. And he's like, I'm not here to threaten you. They're gonna turn our con. They hate us, and you can join us. You know, we can live like kings and queens. And Angel joins them. Darwin's gonna join. Darwin's the black guy that they pick up. Oh, and he killed Darwin. So way to go, writers! Kill. What do they do? They kill the black guy. The black guy dies first of the main characters. Has to die first. Racist. You, you know, why the black man gotta die first? Are you just racist? I'm like, and he could have been a good character. I hope they don't kill him off as Mr. Terrific, which again, I was based on that trailer. I don't think you need so many characters in one movie, but that's just me. You know, but Darwin dies, and I'm like, wow, really? And because Kevin Bacon says the word enslaved, I'm like, slavery, oh, racism, anybody? Huh? I mean, you can, yeah, but I thought that was just stupid for them to kill off Darwin. I'm like, seems like a good character, and you kill him off. He just dies because freaking Eric Summer Cyclops' stupid ass brother tries to, get the energy out of it and tries to attack Shaw. It doesn't work because he absorbs energy, idiot. You know, and all these kids were doing was partying and naming each other. Angel walks off with them. Yeah, they go away. Once they return, they begin to train the units. Well, they get mad at them for partying so much. Then they said, "We don't want you to die, so we're gonna quit here." And it's like, no. And they decided to train. Uh, he teaches Eric how to use his sonar or whatever's in his stomach, the beam that comes out of his chest, to control it. Like for like a target. And he makes fun of Hank. He's just a jerk to Hank, but I just thought it was annoying. And they try to force a romance between him and Raven. I didn't see no chemistry between them. It felt forced. And the film does have a little bit of comma panel shots. Not the whole movie, but yeah, the Green Hornet did that too. And I hate panel shots in movies. If you've seen my rant on Emily's Holt, I hate when they do that in movies. Panel shots in movies, just like this and this, like panels, combo panels almost. I hate when you do that. But they train them and they train Banshee to fly, and he teaches Magneto see this pain and they fly. And I didn't care about their acting at all. I do not buy them as friends. I, I don't like McCoy and Fassbender as actors, but that's just me. President Kennedy, JFK, anticipated blockade that a war happened. Xavier McTaggart and Lyncher try to blockade to stop the fleet from engaging. And they do have talks at the movies like, well, Charles, as soon as they're done with us, they're going to hate us. And they've talked like Jay's like, my friend, killing will not bring you peace. And he's like, but they're going to turn on us. We already are the better men, that they hate us and we got to fight against them. So they're very conflicted on their opinions, different views. Ezra kills the crew of the Russian missile. Shaw used the nuclear core to charge himself up, and eliminate in a helmet. He uses a helmet in the movie, which would be Magneto's helmet later on in the movie, but he tests with Emma. Emma ends up in jail, and like I said, sorry, she ends up in jail, and using her powers to open up and tells him it's not the war. This is what you got to worry about. So I guess Shaw just doesn't come for her. Just says forget you, leave it in prison. And has Angel as his new girl, I guess. Once you're post-submarine, and the acting is laughable because he's pulling he's like, it looks like he's constipated. You know, like he can use some Lexington or drink something. You know, like he's screaming in his pants, and the acting just when somebody yells or screams in this movie, it's just badly acting. Yeah, he pulls a submarine, all right, and you would also have Hank who tries to, she questions her identity. This way, you have the Rebecca Maine. He's like, why don't you just be naked, be yourself? Do you hide? Should a tiger hide his stripes? And she accepts that. She's conflicted and listens more to Eric, of course, joining him eventually, being his right hand woman when he becomes Magneto. Um, yeah, it's just sometimes talking throughout the movie, and the talking I didn't care about at all with these characters. And Hank turns himself into Beast, so see him this way Beast looks. I don't like the look of Beast in this movie. It's just overacting and stuff. And again, uh, Kelsey Grammer looks a lot better in the makeup as Beast. He looks like I heard. I think a friend of mine, John, said in his rant of this movie some time ago. John Avenger, Johnny Rod, said that he looked like a Thundercat. He does. I call him Buford T. Kitten though, but he doesn't look. Yeah, Magneto himself was like, "Don't mock me," and they fly the X jet, which is fine, you know. And they're gonna hit one of the missiles, but Xavier blows it off and almost hits the group like an idiot. Or Xavier because he gets chosen guys mind to get this general to pull it. And you got listed this way. You have Mike Larson, another actor who played in he was in Blue Streak and he was the villain in Home Alone 3. You but eventually the submarine crashes. They fight. Beast and Havoc. They fight. Uh, Banshee's able to get the location by going to the water and screaming and get the location of Shaw. And Shaw's still wearing the helmet where Xavier cannot get into his mind because that helmet blocks him, protects him from him controlling or reading his mind or whatever. Hazel fights with you know, there's this scene, with Beast and Havoc. They fight a bit. Angel shows up and starts, getting the fireballs out of her mouth just to hit them, and they do fight. They knock her out. Lyncher puts on the helmet. Well, he hits him at first. They tell each other. He said he still can't read his mind. Lyncher's he's on his magnetism metal, but he can push it back. He's like, "Come on, Eric. I'm sorry about that happened, but I see potential in you. Join me, Eric. Be with me. That we can attack humans and free mankind." And he agrees with everything he says, but still, he's able to get a piece of metal while Shaw's distracted, pull the helmet off, and he goes to grab it, but gets frozen. Stop in the name of love. But gets attacked, and Magneto, Eric's like, "You're completely right. I agree, 100%. I agree with you 100%. But you killed my mom, my mother." And he gives the coin. I'm gonna count to three, and then kills him. And I guess Xavier feels the pain. He's like, "Eric, be the Meta Man." He doesn't want to listen. He's like, "Charles, I'm not listening to you anymore." And he puts the coin through his head. He's like, "Ugh," and he's like, I'm like he's constipated, having an aneurysm or something. Kills him off, and gets Charles' body out by magnetism, and he's dead. Yeah. And I thought Kevin Bacon died in Lima. Say, you know what? Remember Wild Hollow Man? He's a better villain in this movie, and he has a better death in those movies than he does in here. He gets killed by a quarter. Wow. To the head. That's exciting. Remember Wild, he gets shot by Meryl Streep. In Hollow Man, he gets shot by kissing Elizabeth Shue and gets killed by dying at the end of an elevator shaft that blows up. Better death. Or Super, when he gets stabbed by Crimson Bolt, a better death for him. Uh, and Eric comes out with the helmet on, saying they're going to attack us. They hate our kind. We need brothers and sisters. We need to fight for each other. We need to fight against the humans. And they're going to shoot missiles to blow them up. Roosevelt trying to call them, but she's just one agent. Forget her. We'll kill her off anyway. Wow. You see, pricks kill one of your own, especially a human. So they decide to murder them, even though they save them for a nuclear war from happening. They shoot missiles at them. Magneto was blown. Was like, stop. And Charles Xavier attacks Eric. They fight a bit, and he's like, "Don't make me fight you." And Roosevelt starts shooting at him, and he's like, "Wait, fight the bullet," and the bullet hits his back, and that's how he becomes paralyzed in a wheelchair. Such a stupid way He's like, this was you and try to choke her, and he lets go. And he's like, well, we're going to our own side here. We don't trust you anymore. We're that he's gonna go do his own battle, whatever. Fletcher does take Raven, Angel, and Riptide Nasal, says goodbye, farewell to Xavier before he leaves. He's like, I can't move my legs, can't move my legs. He's come out of the wheelchair. And Munit and Proud, and then Mystique, Raven says to Beast, Munit and Proud. I don't know. Myra's caring for him, but she promises never to leave the location of school, but Xavier does not find her to be reliable. So he erases her memory by kissing her. I'm like, okay, I guess maybe every co-ed woman or college woman that you hit on, I guess you would kind of just hook up with them because you're a douchebag, kiss them and just let their minds away, like wipe their kiss. I'm like, okay, yeah. So I guess if he's like sleeping in bed with a woman, he can just, and she's gonna go crazy for him, he can just kiss her and make her mind wipe her. Okay. So anyway, Lyncher, he says that they can call each other. So the X-Men, because Rosa Byrne comes up with the name, and she says, "Well, all I remember is this happening," and then share a kiss, and then Mick Jagger says a line like, "This is why women shouldn't be in CIA." So sexist. So not only you kill off a black guy being a racist, the movie has to be sexist too. Women can't be in the CIA. I'm like, Mr. breaks Frost of the CIA. Of course, she's like, again, she's just useless. Like, she just good to look at here. She's hot to look at, hot to try. And she's like, Eric, was it? I prefer the name Magneto. And then the movie ends there. They're all smiling. Her's like, yeah, we're gonna go cause some damage, or whatever. And Magneto, he's got his costume on. At least pretty lame though. Again, and that's the end of X Men First Class. Yeah. Sorry if I missed some scenes, but I don't really care. Give my final opinion on this movie. X Men First Class. I think this is an overrated movie. Yeah, it probably does get some praise. But again, I don't like this movie. Why? Because it's too long. It's sorry. It's a boring film. It makes no sense, whatsoever. It's stupid seeing Xavier, and Magneto, Professor X and Magneto before they became Professor X. Where to see Charles Xavier and Eric Lynch's past, who cares how they became friends? Who cares how they became Professor X and Magneto? We didn't need that. It was stupid. Seeing Wolverine's past, we don't need to know it. It should have been left unexplained. You don't need the background for these characters. You don't need a history of these characters. You know what? X-Men X2, I get enough of that. Because number one, I buy Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. They're better actors, by the way, better. And I bought them being friends. That they built Cerebral together. They started the X-Men, but they had differences. In X-Men 2000, you can tell right away that they've been friends for a long time. I don't need the history of that. It wants to leave me wondering, wow, I wonder what happened between them. But I do know they were friends. They were good friends, but they had different point of views. You know, Xavier wants to coexist peacefully with humans and use their powers for good, while Magneto, Eric, sees that they're going to threat, that they hate us, they will turn on us, we got to be ready to fight them. At least that movie had a better plot where Magneto wanted to turn humans into, was going to kill the human race by having them turn into mutants, have them live like them. And, Eric, Amy McKellen does such a better job. And the thing is, their acting is much better. Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, they're more professional actors. I did not like these two. I thought James McAvoy was whatever. The story, it's set in the 60s and set in their past about their story, the Hellfire Club, which was lame. Again, Kevin Bacon, I think does a fine job at a scent, but again, River Wild, Hollow Man, and Super, he's better villains in those movies. Those are better films, in my opinion. I like those movies a lot more. Well, the other two are not superhero movies, but they're better movies with him in it, better writing and better stories. This film has, like I said, four writers. You know, yeah, and Matthew Vaughn did job directing. I don't care about any of these characters. I don't care about Beast. I don't care about Havoc. Jennifer Lawrence, I think, does fine. Unlike the next two, Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix, she seems to care. She seems like she's doing a good job, and I do like her in the makeup. I think she does look in the makeup. I don't like the way Beast looks. Neither Sut in the makeup. He looks like a Thundercat. Buford T. Kitten and anybody. And while I love Jennifer Jones as an actress, and she's such a beautiful woman. That's all she does in here. She's just eye candy. There's nothing to performance. Like I said, she gets arrested in the second act of the movie. Then you don't see her for a while until the ending of the film. when Eric becomes officially Magneto, and you know, you know, finally when he gets the helmet. But the film is very forgettable. It's boring. I don't like the cast at all. It's a boring movie. It's a boring film. The best thing about it was Hugh Jackman's cameo saying "Go fuck yourself." That's totally Wolverine attitude. Yeah, and yeah, Matthew Vaughn I think did a terrible job directing. Again, that's what I hated the lead, and Aaron Johnson as the lead in Kick-Ass. He was terrible. He was a wimp, and these two actors are bad. Xavier's a douchebag, and Eric's a whiny little wimp, mommy's boy trying to get revenge. I didn't care about any of them. Their acting was terrible when they're just you know you know like they're both constipated throughout the movie. Terrible acting, overacting. Yeah, and I didn't care about Angel. I didn't care about again some of the cast. Jason Fleming, I like the makeup. He does a decent job. Jane Jones has nothing to do. Angel, she's just all right, but I didn't care about her. She's much better as Catwoman. Does a better job in that. And it feels like she has a lot more to do in the Batman than she does in here. Yeah. And the thing is, I like her and Robert Pattinson in that movie. It had a better lead, and the leads in this film suck. Things about him, he makes villains and characters that are not good. Well, again, I don't mind Mark Strong as a villain in Kick-Ass, but it's just nothing. Kevin Bacon, nothing. He dies in a stupid way. Going through his head, that was stupid. So it felt like he didn't have much to do. He's trying to be a villain, and he kill off Garland, the black guy, and like killing the black guy. That's just racist. Yeah, Tom Racers doing that because it's stupid. And again, X Men First Class, it's boring. The music score is just too low. Like, dun, 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 like he's trying to be like Batman Begins or Dark Knight, where the music has to be so loud. And this music in here is obnoxious. The rest of the cast, I didn't care too much for. Rose Byrne, I didn't care for her. Jamie Jones just had nothing to do. Oliver Platt, he dies, so he's useless in this movie. Could have done a lot more with his character in this movie, but he dies. Gets killed off by Hazel, by Jason Fleming's character. The music score, I didn't like the editing. I thought the action scenes were decent. I mean, with the actions there is kind of decent. Nothing too excited. X Men Last Stand had better action. X Men 1 had better action. X2 especially had better action. Those, X Men and so forth, X2 X Men United, still the best X Men movie in my because I care about the characters, the story, the music score is good and can be a little silent. Not too silent, but good music. Or that score when Lady Deathstrike dies. That's a great music score by John Ottoman. You can say X Men Last Stand has loud music, but I didn't feel it was loud, obnoxious as this. I like the score in X Men Last Stand by was it John Powell, I think, or John Ottoman. Anyway, whatever. The films had better scores too that weren't obnoxious and breaking in my ear. And when those movies, they might talk next to an X Men a little bit, but they have more action and characters. I like the cast. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Yeah, and we don't have Scott Summers. We don't have. You probably see. I think when he used Cerebro for the first time, you do see a young Storm. But you don't have. You don't have a woman off Monroe or Storm, and you don't have Jean Grey. You don't have Scott Summers with his glasses on. Nicholas Hoult wears glasses. I'm like, no, the one that wears glasses character. That's yeah, he wears glasses to read, but mostly the character with glasses is Cyclops, and they're not using him in here. They use him in briefly, but if you remember in X Men 2000, he told Wolverine, my first students were Jean Grey and Scott Summers and Storm, Jean Grey, and Cyclops. They were his first students when he was building the X Men. And he doesn't mention, oh, my sister was Mystique. No, it's none of that. Just like Wolverine and Sabretooth are not brothers. Yeah, and Jean, and Professor X and Mystique were not brother and sister. It is just bad writing with bad dialogue, foreign dialogue. Eric Lyncher telling Michael Finn's been telling them, you're meant to be who you are. You're meant to, it's just boring dialogue I didn't care about. It's just boring. The X Jet looks cool. Some of those shots look cool in the movie, I'll admit. Decent action in there. And again, I do like Kevin Bacon, but he dies in a lame way. He's trying, but he just doesn't have a good director to work with or good writing. Yeah. And Jenny Girls, like I said, beautiful, but the cast is not very good in here, especially the ones after the X Men. I did not care about any of them. Yeah, except Jennifer Lawrence. She was good. She was only trying. And some characters are just useless and don't serve no purpose in this movie. Hazel was good, Yeah. January Jones just looks beautiful, and that's it. Just eye candy, and that's all it. And it's a forgettable film where they don't plot because they want new Global War. I'm like, Magneto wants to do the same thing, so it's like he's just a mirror image of Magneto, you know. And again, you could have had the Hellfire Club years later when they were in X Men: The Last Stand. You could have used them. You had a great script with the Hellfire Club, and you don't. I hope they don't make a Magneto movie. We don't need that. We don't need the history of these characters. I don't care. Leave it unexplained. I don't need an explanation for everything, okay? Just leave it. I don't care how Charles Xavier became Professor X and how Eric Lyncher became Magneto. It's stupid. Wolverine's past is written. That was stupid. I don't need to know their past. That's what made these characters so fascinating and interesting to me. I don't need to know their past. I already like them. I don't need to know their past and their history. Leave it at that. You know, Professor X mentions it about Cerebro and talking about you know, about the school and stuff. That's all I need to know. Is that him and Eric were friends? I can see that in the first X Men movie. I don't need to go into details about that. So leave it unsaid. Okay, just leave it. Days of Future Past is better than this, and so was the Wolverine. Yeah, that's PG-13, but it should have been R-rated. But still, that's a better movie. And despite the crappy CGI samurai at the end, I'll still watch that movie because it didn't bore me. At least we have Hugh Jackman in there. Yeah, and it was a lot better than Origins Wolverine. And then we have Logan, and then you have Deadpool 1 and 2. Deadpool Wolverine, which I haven't watched yet. But I'm sure that's better than this because it didn't bore me. Well, I see Deadpool Wolverine, but Deadpool movies are awesome, and they're rated R, and they're awesome. Yeah, and good cast and good characters in there. Yeah, I'll take those over this any day, but that's just me. X-Men First Class, it's one of the worst X-Men movies out there. I would say probably, I'd put it in second worst. Yeah, it's boring. It's just forgettable. It's just, ugh. Don't care about this movie. So my rating for X Men First Class, I'm gonna give this 1 out of 5 stars and a thumbs down for X Men First Class. If you like it, why? I don't understand why. I mean, that's cool. If you like it, more power to you. But we can agree to disagree. I hate this film. Yes, I hate this film. This was a rant. I hate this movie. If you like this movie, cool. But I don't. I will stick with the first two X Men movies and the Wolverine, X Men Days of Future Past, Logan, and the Deadpool 1 and 2. And I'm sure Deadpool and Wolverine are a lot more than this too. That might have some issues. I don't know if it does. I can't say that yet because I haven't seen the movie, but I'm sure it's better than this. Because, but for one, two better leads, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, yeah, are definitely better than these two. Yeah, I think Hugh Jackman is a Australian actor, right? Yeah, but whatever. Still, well, 1 out of 5 stars because some of the action with the X Jet, some of the action can be a little decent, and Hugh Jackman's cameo was the best thing about this movie. Yeah, everything else, yeah, and January Jones is hot. But that's about it. Kevin Bacon, Jason Fleming do fine with their parts. I didn't care about Riptide. The actor was lame in my opinion. Yay. Can he make a shake and an espresso with his powers? Anyway, I'm just joking. But 1 out of 5 stars and a thumbs down for X-Men First Class. Yeah, I'm not keeping this anymore. So guys, tell me what you think in the comments down below. What do you think of X-Men First Class in your opinion? Do you like it? Do you hate it? And do you agree with me that the first two X-Men movies are better and that the Wolverine Logan and the two Deadpool movies, Deadpool 1 and 2 is better? And would you say Deadpool Wolverine, if you've seen that movie, do you think it's better than this movie in your opinion? Tell me in the comments down below, guys. What do you think of this? And what is your favorite X-Men movie? What do you think is the best one? Mine is my favorite, and the best one to me is X2 X-Men United. Always will be my favorite. Always will be the best X-Men film ever, in my opinion. First one's good too. Yeah, it has some problems, but I like the characters. Yeah, I would take the line when Storm says, "You know what happens to a frog when it's electrocuted by lightning? Everything that same thing that happens to everything else." I'll take that line dialogue. It's better than any dialogue in here. Yeah, it's a corny line, cheesy line, but I'll take that. I'll take cheesy lines over boring ass lines any day. But anyway, guys, the next review it'll be two Green DC movies. Well, starting with this DC animated film. I don't remember being too much of a big fan of this movie. Wasn't a fan of this film, but I didn't hate it. Probably won't be a rant, but the next one is a DC animated film that is Green Lantern Emerald Knights. So this will be next. Actually, it's only 84 minutes long, So it's not 2 hours 12 minutes. At least it's short, thank God. But anyway, I better go start. Yeah, we're 1 hour 9 minutes in. I'm done. So, but Green Lantern, Emerald Knights, this will be the next review. Yeah, as part of the DC animated original movies. So Green Lantern, Emerald Knights, this will be next. So stay tuned for that. And tell me, guys, come down below once again. What do you think of X Men First Class in your opinion? Do you agree with me that it sucks and that's boring and forgettable and overrated? Or do you love the movie? If you love the movie, that's fine. Me not liking it should not change your view of it. Don't change your opinion for me or anybody. Don't change the way you think. If you like a movie, like a movie. There's nothing wrong with that. And if somebody gets onto you, forget them. Don't worry about it. Like what you like. But this wasn't for me. I didn't care for this movie anymore. Sorry. And stay tuned for my next review. Superhero review, 2010's review. That is Green Lantern, Emerald Knights, another DC animated movie. So, this will be next. So, stay tuned for that, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next review. So, let's exit out of this review, and I'll see you everywhere my power. Green Lantern's light. See you later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.